Now this is the Atwater Kent Model 20C that I restored that you saw in my Atwater Kent videos. And I should have explained a little bit better, but in 1925 this is a typical 3-dial TRF or tuned radio frequency radio, meaning that you had the first stage of amplification, second stage, and the third stage of radio amplification. Before 1925, various inventors and companies had different schemes of tuning and amplifying radio signals and reproducing them with speakers, loudspeakers of various types. But in 1925, this 3-dial radio became the standard. Now inside a standard 1925 TRF radio, you had 5 tubes. That was pretty much a standard of many manufacturers that built radios around in that time. All 5 of them are 201As or 01A tubes. You have the first radio frequency amplifier, the second, the third, and then these last 2 are audio frequency amplifiers, and they are what actually, this tube right here, this final tube, is what actually drives the loudspeaker. Now tuning these 3-dial TRF radios was somewhat difficult for many people. You had to basically tune all 3 dials. With the first dial you'll finally hear a radio station, but you have to keep the other 2 dials close to it, because ultimately when you tune the radio station in flat straight across, the numbers on the dials probably will not match. They'll be slightly different between all 3 dials to get the station tuned, perfectly tuned. And this is what's going to bring me to the next radio that I'm going to restore. Now this big radio that you see here is also a TRF battery dry cell type radio from the 1920s. Here's what is left of the battery cable, and it still has the clips on it that says where they connect up. Now this is a King Model 62. It was probably manufactured and sold in about 1927. The interesting aspect of this radio is it's a stepping stone type design up to what I would call a single tuning dial radio. If you'll notice here, there's only one tuning dial in the center and one indicator, and instead of 3. Yet this radio is a TRF radio and tunes 3 stages of RF amplification, just like the Atwater Kent did. They do it with linkage inside to tune the 3 stages, but how do they get all 3 tuned so that the station is tuned flat all the way across all 3 stages? There's a mechanical system that they use to do that, and when I get the radio apart I'll show you that. Now aside from the tuning knob that tunes the stations, we have the 2 rheostats just like the Atwater Kent had. The one rheostat turns the radio frequency amplifier filaments, and this one adjusts the audio amplifier filament, or the last amplification stage. This knob in the center is the on-off switch that turns the radio on and off, but these 2 little knobs right here, those are the gimmick that they use so that you can tune all 3 stages of radio frequency amplification tuning to match all the way across. So basically you would tune your station in so you hear it loudly here, and you would fine tune with these 2 smaller knobs. And when I get the radio apart I will show you how they did that. Now the cabinet is in very good condition. This is an estate find. I bought it from a junk shop in Elkhorn, Wisconsin. but they probably got it from an estate sale. That this came right out of an attic somewhere. So this radio is actually from the original owner to the through the estate sale and into the junk shop where I finally bought it. So it has not been handled by anyone since. It's as found in the attic, and the case is in very good condition, as you can see. Now inside, I want to point out one of the differences between the Atwater Kent and this radio. We have the typical 1, 2, 3 stages of radio frequency tuning, 201A tubes, plus this pair of 201A tubes, which makes this a 5-tube set. But here is a 171, a final amplifier, audio amplifier tube. That tube takes 135 volts on the plate. So this radio will provide plenty of power and amplification to drive one of the newer balanced armature type cone speakers versus the horn speaker that I had on the Atwater Kent.